it is. Big hit. So, we're out in the A5, and what we've done now, since we took it back off the dyno, is put it completely back to standard, just to get a couple of little runs up and down while the weather's decent as well, which is always handy. It's been a bit intermittent lately, so we're doing all right. So what we're going to do, we'll go for a run as it is now. It's 2 runs, average them out, make sure we're happy with what we're getting. Then I'll go back to our yard, flash the upgraded 300 horsepower engine tune on there, and then we'll see what difference we've got. And then what we have done as well, not tried it yet, but we've got an upgraded gearbox tune as well, so we can try both of them. Slow. So this car has got the launch control that our other car didn't have. So our other car, that didn't have launch control, so we had to bodge around and try and get what we wanted out of it. But this house, so this is revving just below 3 grams, I think 2800 in set or something like that in software. Just double check. But it went with a decent bang, 5.5 to 60, so it's not slow by any stretch, but pretty sure a tune's going to make that a lot better. Foot hard on the brake, all the way down on throttle. Why is it not doing it? It's not doing the proper launch that time. Yeah, I'll give that something. Dropped out of slot. I'm not too sure why that second time. Did a 5.7 to 60, but we were doing like what our other car did. No matter what we did. The launch control, so I'll have to have a look into that. We'll see. If it doesn't do it on the tuned gearbox software, then it's not a big deal, but very strange. I might try resetting it in sport and turn the traction off again when I do that next time. But we'll go back into our yard. So, we're on. Let's see if she starts. We're off. I'll put this back on here. That'll get us out there. See what difference another 125 foot-pound and another 60 horsepower feels like. What I put in sport. Straight there. Absolutely tons more now. Oh yeah, it's a lot better. Massive amount different. Like the standard tune that were on there when I last went out in it didn't feel, sounds daft, but it didn't feel tons worse than when we bought it with a 320 horsepower tune on there, which turned out to be 270 and only like 25 foot-pound of torque more, so it's not surprising it's made a decent difference. So we'll go back to the usual test spot, quickly see what we can get. So I'm not expecting miracles, but we're 5.5, 5.7 last time, so if we can, I don't know, what do we want to be doing really? It wants to be into the 4s. Well, 5.6 average before, so what do I want to be? Somewhere mid to high 4s would be nice. But it's probably not going to be the 0 to 60 way. This would be a lot quicker, but obviously we can't really test on roads like this, so we'll have to just get some figures from elsewhere, see what difference it would make to 100, and pretty sure this road won't be long enough standard to get 124 mile an hour, whatever 200 kilometres is, so let's try that somewhere else. Hopefully the launch control won't play about this time. Oh, it is. So the launch control played up again. We were 4.9 that time. So we get that to actually behave. What do I need to do to make the launch control actually work? I'm not too sure. Once. It's frustrating. Didn't work that time again either. Well, 4.9 again. So we're off again. This time we've got the gearbox tune on. So in theory, this should have launch control nearer to 4,000 RPM, quicker gear changes, less overlap on the clutches, so it's not trying to slip between, it's just going to bang it into gear, which might not help the launch first or second, but we'll see what happens. Quicker shift times. Paddle delay should be gone, which we've not done anything with the paddles yet, so I don't think anybody's going to notice. See if we notice a difference. The drive's pretty unchanged. Sport should be a bit. Yeah, definitely feel gears are changing quicker. Not going full maximum attack yet. So we'll see a bit more when we do a pull. Pardon me. Pinched somebody's Skittles and nearly choked on them, so instant karma. Oh yes. Big hit. So we changed that launch this time to 4,000 RPM. Which, because it hits so hard, it's probably a little bit too high. You could probably get away with that being 3 grand maybe, but we'll do testing on that later on. 4 grand's definitely going to be the best when we've got a bigger turbo, but whether we want to try some proper launch control strategies where we can retard timing and stuff like that, we'll see. So, what was that? 4.6 to 60, so decent improvement from the gearbox tune alone. Be nice to see what RR did of it with the launch control working as standard, but it is what it is. Can't change stuff that's already done. The fuel economy's suffering. Well, not doing much gentle driving, it's just all foot flat down. I think that were a bit inconclusive, that one. That were 4.8 that time, which is quicker than before, but it didn't get to the launch, so I think we've got a problem somewhere where this car isn't happy with what we're doing with it, so I'll have to try and see if it does it when we stop outside gates, but a bit up against it time-wise. I don't want to I won't be playing with this too much more if I can help it. So we'll get back to workshop. But I think, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do with this now. I'm going to put it on the dyno and see if we've freed up any more power with the gearbox tune. because in theory we should be getting a little bit more torque. So I'll see what power it does on dyno. Hang on. And we'll go from there. So, time to wrap up this vlog. As you've seen from the road testing, we think we've had a quick look into the gearbox tune, and there's some time and temperature and distance based limitations on how quickly you can do the launch control. So that's why it didn't do it every time. So we'll go out in it again when we've done the big turbo, and we'll get some good comparisons, because it's not as scientific as it needs to be anyway. But we did 5.5 to 60 roughly standard, and it's probably going to be 4.5 as it is now. So knocking a second to 60 off. So we'll see what we get with the bigger turbo, and then just with the gearbox tune as it is, and then we'll see if we can tweak that and play with it. But we did that with the last one, then we took it to Santa Pod, and it was just completely different. The grip, a lot grippier surface. In the last car, the gearbox played up quite a lot of Santa Pod, and it never did it again when we were on the road. So it doesn't really make any sense. But this gearbox definitely responds a lot better to what we're doing. So as I said when I came off the road test earlier, when we put the gearbox tune on, that was going to give us a bit more. Now, I think I probably said power, and I'm wrong, because we went from 500 foot-pound of torque to knocking on 550 for a brief period, but that's just literally as the sort of dyno's letting it go. But if you look, we're about 520, so probably 20-30 foot-pound more in real terms. And then power-wise, we've actually just lost a tiny bit here, but that could literally just be discrepancy from when we first dynoed it to now. And obviously you can see where the upshift happens at like 4.5 grand. Now we're going all the way to 5,000 at the hard cut. So it's a lot better. I'm hoping with a bigger turbo, sort of from 3,900 RPM onwards, we can keep it climbing. But we're also well aware that we're not close to the edge of the fuel system, but we're already asking for a lot of injector opening time. I think we're about 900 microseconds now, which I think is going to be too much. If we'd be tracking it, we might get away with stretching it to like 1,000 or so on the road, but I still think it'd be getting hot. So it's going to be one of them. We'll see how much we can get out of the injectors, at what detriment, and see where the pump goes. But I'm pretty sure we'll probably get to the end of the injectors. Just as the pump's about to go, we'll put some injectors in, then the pump will be dropping into limp mode, and we'll start playing with that. But we'll see what we can do. We'll not surmise too much until we get started. But a lot of people with these cars do come with turbo problems. So the next step is where a lot of people's going to be, which would be DPF removal, big turbo, intercooler, gearbox tune and a remap. So it's not a bad place to be. The next step we're going to be. So we'll get it ripped off dyno now, head off into the workshop, and we'll get the turbo fitted.